What's up? It's time for me to answer your questions about marketing and growing your business. I'm Furr, this is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets, and it's Mailbox Monday. Today's question is all about growing your business without spending a whole bunch of money on advertising. So with that, let's dive into the notes. All right, so how to grow your business without spending a dime on advertising. The question that I got in my mailbox this week is, my biggest challenge is money, mostly concerning advertising. I'm so interested and determined to make money online and have found some great inexpensive and free opportunities to build a business, but when it comes to promoting and advertising, I just don't have a budget for that. So I always end up disappointed with every new venture I begin. And this reminds me of the old saying that I've heard specifically coming from tech, but it applies kind of across the board. Fast, easy, cheap, pick any two. Fast, easy, cheap, pick any two. And like, if you want to grow fast and easy, it's not going to be cheap. If you want to grow fast and cheap, it's not going to be easy. If you want to grow easy and cheap, it's not going to be fast, right? So what you're doing here is you're basically saying, I want to be able to grow my business, and cheap has to be one of the two options. So it's either not going to be fast or it's not going to be easy, okay? And you know, we're just going to acknowledge that at the start of this. We're going to acknowledge that at the start of this, that if you're choosing cheap, it's not necessarily going to be fast and it's not necessarily going to be easy. You know, one of those two you're going to have to give up, and that's okay, right? That's okay. That's okay. We just have to acknowledge it and then work within the constraints that we are given or giving ourselves or whatever, right? And by the way, what I am hearing here, one other thing that I didn't end up putting in my notes is I always end up disappointed with every new venture I begin. One thing that's worth remembering is that focus is not just a word and an idea of what you want to do, but it is also an acronym for follow one course until success. Follow one course until success. And when you think about like every new venture I begin, one of the challenges that you may be running into here is you're expecting the success to come maybe faster than it's going to happen. And you might want to double down on whatever one of these things has the most traction or has the most interest or seems to be the one that makes the most sense for you, and really sticking with it, making sure that you stick with it at least long enough to give it a real chance of success. Because oftentimes, especially if we're very excited, as soon as that excitement wears off, it's easy to get excited about the next thing and the next thing. And I've been guilty of this myself. Whereas if we just choose to go a little bit deeper, choose to go a little bit longer with it, that can be what it takes to achieve that success that we desire. So with all of that said, let's talk about how to grow your business without spending a dime on advertising. The number one thing that you should spend money on, though, is your email list or email service provider. So you can pick the one that makes the most sense for you. You might want to think a little bit longer term about what has the feature sets, but a lot of times, a lot of the email service providers have very similar capabilities in terms of being able to provide some sort of welcome sequence or autoresponder campaign, some behaviorally triggered sequence where somebody signs up for a list and they get a sequence of emails afterwards on a set schedule relative to the time that they signed up, as well as the ability to send broadcast emails, which are emails where you say, okay, I want to send this on Monday at 4 p.m. and it sends it Monday at 4 p.m. And you should absolutely spend money on this because email marketing is by far the most profitable online marketing channel. It is a place where you can develop ongoing relationships with your audience. When you build your audience there, you can send out marketing to them kind of on your schedule, and you get to choose largely the contents of that email. You get to decide all of that. And the latest stat that I heard is that email marketing has something like a 34x ROI, meaning for every dollar that you're putting into email marketing, it's generating 34 times that in revenue. And like, seriously, it is just the most effective medium. It's not going away anytime soon. Yes, different generations have different preferences for media, but pretty much everybody is tapped into email, and email is a highly effective marketing medium that you get to decide. You get to decide how you're connecting with people through email. And so if you're starting a business, like I would not start a business venture without an email list. I wouldn't. Like, no matter what it is, I wouldn't start a business venture without an email list, because I want that ability to consistently communicate with my audience through email on my schedule. And so with that said, assuming that there's going to be some email list, something similar to that, as far as your ability to communicate with people on an ongoing basis, let's talk about how you can do this either fast and cheap or cheap and easy. So fast and cheap way to grow your business. Number one is to sell. If you are not going to be, if you're not going to be using paid advertising to do a lot of the sales for you, you're going to have to be out there doing the sales. You're going to have to be selling yourself. And so really what this requires of you, and this is why it's not easy, is you really have to do everything and be everywhere. Do everything and be everywhere. So wherever your target market is, you want to show up. This could be at conventions. It could be at trade shows. It could be at, and I'm not saying you have to have a booth at these places, right? But if that's where your people are, that's where you want to be, and you want to be talking to them. It could be on social media. It could be places that your audience hangs out on social media. So it may be YouTube, it may be Facebook groups, it may be whatever, right? You have to identify where your audience is, where your market is, and you have to be there, and you have to show up, and you have to be doing things to attract attention, and you have to be bringing them into your universe. And helpful in this regard is to create client attraction media. That is, what media can you create, whether, and honestly, this could be a free presentation given at your local community center, or a free presentation given at your Chamber of Commerce, or a free presentation given. It could be classes that you teach inside your community college. I don't know exactly what it is for you, for your business, right? But you need to create some kind of media, some kind of presentation. And I say media, but live presentations also apply here. Some kind of presentation that's going to attract your ideal clients, and that's going to send them through to your email list, to your offers, where you can direct people through. By the way, one great place for this is podcast guesting. I've talked about that often on Breakthrough Marketing Secrets, and for whatever reason, it's often the media that a lot of people are not automatically attracted to. And I think it is because it is not necessarily easy to go and be on a bunch of podcasts, but it is something that can be made easier through an effective system. And it's something that you can have a lot of success with, because you're just creating this client attraction media inside other people's venues, inside other people's audiences. And so you create this client attraction media, you just be present for your audience, for your marketplace, and you direct them. Many times what you want to do is you want to direct them to your email list and maybe offer some enticement to get them to sign up. So for example, I have this website, freescientificadvertising.com. freescientificadvertising.com, where you can sign up and you can get a free audiobook version as well as PDF of Scientific Advertising by Claude Hopkins, which I often say is the most important book in advertising. It's the best book on internet marketing, even though it was written 100 years ago. freescientificadvertising.com, sign up. That's an example of where you go, you enter your email address. Oh, you end up on my email address or on my email list, so I can have an ongoing conversation with you, right? And from that point, I can then present offers to you. I can put offers in front of you. But again, this is about getting people onto your email list so that you can regularly communicate with them. How often? I send out emails daily, 5 days a week. Other people send out emails even more than that. Some people send out less than that. I really wouldn't recommend at this point less than once a week, unless your business is kind of exceptional in maybe seasonality or something like that. But you are better off emailing more, and you're better off getting creative about all the different ways that you can provide value to your target audience through emails, and then emailing them more often, even if it's not offers. right? Versus emailing them less. So build a personal relationship through email. This is the fastest and cheapest way, is basically just to do everything, be everywhere. PR is another example of this. There's all sorts of opportunities to do everything, be everywhere, if you take this content leadership role and then direct people into your universe using email as a way to funnel them into ongoing communications with you. The cheap and easy way to grow your business, number one, I'll say easy is relative, because basically you're going to be doing the same stuff. It's just not going to happen as fast. I would say focus on media and attention. The one thing that we are kind of taking away from this is the one-on-one selling. I mean, if you want to grow your business fast, you can just go knock on a bunch of doors, right? Go knock on doors and face rejection after rejection until you find your target buyers, right? Find the people who are interested in doing business with you. And when I say knock on doors, that can be literal and metaphorical doors. It can be virtual doors as well as physical doors, right? That is one of the fastest ways to grow any business, is just to go out there and have conversations and try and get people to buy, right? So easy being relative, meaning mostly that you don't necessarily have to go out and do that. You're going to focus on the media and attention. Now, some challenges are going to come up if you do this. Primarily that when you actually go out and you have in-person sales conversations or you have one-on-one sales conversations, one of the things that happens is you start to very quickly discover what people respond to and what they don't. And you get to hear people's objections. You get to hear people's hesitation. And you say, okay, well, I'm learning from this. And like even a single sales conversation, trying to pitch your products, trying to pitch your service, can very quickly show you what people are and are not interested in, right? And, be careful about generalizing, but it can show you what people are and are not interested in. It can show you where your sales presentation, where your messaging is off, right? And then you can adapt, right? You don't get that, and you certainly don't get that as quickly from media, just creating media, just doing things to draw attention. But at the same time, you can still see, okay, more people respond if I put out a message about this versus if I put out a message about this, and start to observe those trends through time. Again, this is cheap and easy. So, you could set up a YouTube channel and your email service provider probably has some super easy way to get people on your list. Maybe they have little landing page builders, etc., right? And you could, with the YouTube channel and an email service provider or, TikTok or Facebook group or whatever, right? You're just putting out client attraction media, trying to get attention of your target audience and getting them onto your list so that you can build that relationship through email. Again, not as fast as going out there and selling, right? But it can be the cheap and easy relative way to grow your business. Now, one of my questions there is, a lot of times what we want to do as humans is we want easy now, but it leads to hard later. Versus if we do the harder thing now, it often leads to easy faster and more easy in the future. And so you may not want to focus on easy. You may want to focus on fast and cheap. And a final thought here is that paid advertising does become an accelerant and a multiplier. And so if you are able to start growing whatever your venture is without paid advertising, because as of right now, you don't have a big budget for it, that's fine, right? But you start growing without, but then you want to figure it out pretty quickly. And it is helpful because it can give you speed. It can give you speed to help grow your business, to launch your offers, to, attract new and bigger audiences, to put effective media in front of a bigger audience, right? All of these things can happen faster with paid advertising. And so you may want to consider, even if immediately you don't have the budget for it, how quickly can you develop the budget for it out of what you're currently doing? So my call to action for you at the end of this episode is to ask you, how can you use this? If you clicked on a video or were interested in this episode about how to grow your business without spending a dime on advertising, Based on what you've just heard, what action items or takeaways do you have? You can leave that in a comment with this episode. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can get more content like this delivered to you. And by the way, I do have some really solid training on content marketing to grow your business. So as you're thinking about how can I create all this client attraction media, how can I create customer attraction media? How can I use that media to direct traffic into my sales process so that these people are more likely to do business with me, right? How can I create that content in an effective way? And my content marketing to grow your business is all about that. So that'll be the first link in the description. There's also a link in the description to ask me your question if you have a pressing question or challenge with marketing and growing your business that you'd like my take on. So with that, I'm Roy Furr. This is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets, and I'll catch you again in the next episode. See you soon. Bye. Thank you once again for tuning in to this daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Remember, check out the links with this episode for even more value. Now make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and engage in every way you can to keep this show going and growing and delivering daily value to you. I'll catch you soon for your next big breakthrough.